Got it. Okay. Hi, today maybe we'll start about, Spring Core. Spring, actually, we have a different modules in Spring, okay? Today, what we will talk? We will talk about Spring Core and Spring MVC. After that, we need to jump into the Spring Boot and REST services and microservices and POC. This is a part, okay? Now, what we will do? Today, we will talk about Spring Core, like what is a Spring, what is this core concept, and all. Okay. Now, before jumping into the Spring Core, then what is the course content? Maybe we'll see. This is a Spring Core. Spring Core, actually, we need to introduction of, like, what is the IoC. After that, bean scopes. And maybe I didn't add some of the annotations. After that, Spring configurations and advanced beans configuration. Oh, these are the four concepts is there. But before jumping into this four concept, we need to talk about, what is the Spring, why they have introduced. Okay, see, I think so. I'm not remembering exactly. 2012 before, EJB is very powerful. EJB, entity Java beans, it's coming from the sun. This is very powerful to write a distributed applications. Distributed applications. Whereas, what is the distributed applications? And I'll tell you like one by one. Okay. In 2012, I think so, 95% people are using EJB and remaining struts is there. Struts actually 5% people are using. Struts are servlets, JSP, JDBC. Now what happened? We have a framework called Spring came. Spring came. Spring is a open source. Open source. What does that mean? That mean open the source code score on top of whatever you want you can do. Whatever you want, you can do it. That means they'll give you the open source code on top of you can write and use it in your current project or in current business. Open source mode, it's a free. Some people will say it's free. It's a free only. But what that particular meaning is open source means open the source code and whatever you want, you can do accordingly. You can change your, business scenario. That is the open source. And Spring actually they provided in a freely open source. Then occupied now 95% is occupied Spring framework only. Spring only. That Spring Boot actually 95% they're using. Then what is disadvantages and all? Previously, we have only maybe I can say some year back, only we have a distributed applications. Distributed applications only. What is that distributed means? We have a one server, different client. Client. If something happened in that server, all clients will be stopped. That example is best example for distributed application, IRCTC. IRCTC have a billions of users, but anyone cannot open 11:30 to 11:30 to 12:30 because 11:30 to 12:30, we are not able to open because they're doing a maintenance. That time, if you are seeing any client not able to open in your data or your train search. For example, you want to search from to trains and all, right? You guys are not able to open. If you want, you can try today, 11:30. You're not able to open because that is a maintenance. Now, this is like, EJB is very powerful to write a distributed applications because it is a easier relationship. Maybe I can say Java is a easier relationship. That means inheritance. And now Spring came into the market. And Spring Boot, sorry, maybe you can say Spring came into the market. Spring is very powerful in very in integration application. APP means application. Okay. What does that mean? Example is WhatsApp, or Facebook, or Amazon, or whatever it may be. Any social media. You can say integration applications. What does that mean? Integration. Integration means it has a three replica sets. It has a three replica sets. Maybe you can say data centers. Data center. Right? For example, Facebook. Maybe this is the best example for integration applications. 24 by 7. Anytime if you open, Facebook can access your data or read data, add data, maybe CRUD operations, I can say. You can create, retrieve, update, delete in Facebook. Facebook have three data centers. One is in UK, second one is in USA, third one is in India, Bangalore, Manyata Tech Park. Bangalore, Manyata Tech Park, for example. Okay. Now, if something is happened in UK, its entire data is collapsed. Still, you are able to access from USA. And USA also something is happened. Still, you are able to access from India. If India also not happening, then they have a one more data center in the C. That also they can replica. They will do this three replica once that up. That means like all the things is gone, right? Then again they'll start, right? There that replica is there in the C. They'll copy from this to this to this to this. That much, they have stored in data in different manners. But whereas in distributed have only one endpoint only to enter the data or deleting the data or retrieval the data. Whereas in integration applications, we have a three replica sets. One is sitting into the UK, USA, and India. If any 24 by 7, anywhere, if you want to access, you can able to access. Okay, that is a best example for integration applications. Spring is suitable. Almost 95% people are using now all integration applications only. Second, even distributed also, but distributed application also it's like work, but not compared than EJB. Now, second is it has a relationship, has a relationship. Spring is. That means Spring internally, it's working like a each pattern they are using factory pattern, factory pattern, factory design pattern maybe design pattern they are using factory design pattern they are using. That is the second advantages. What is the factory design pattern? I'll guide you once we go into the deeper. Third is Spring has two types of containers. Spring has two types of containers. Spring has two types of containers. What does that container means? For example, in Java, where you're sitting into the object, JVM, under JVM, we have a heap memory. We are setting into the object. Whereas in Spring, they have introduced two context, that is a BeanFactory application context. This is a one more good feature they have added. What is it? BeanFactory. What is application context? It's a container. This is a container. It contains all the beans. Whereas in Java, we always talk about object. In Java world, we are telling object. In Spring world, we are calling as a bean. Bean is nothing but an object. But Spring, we are calling, you know, what is this called? Bean. If you want to, maybe some bean exception will come. Bean is not created. That means what happened? That object is not created. Okay, but we can't say, for example, in one technologies, they're named as different way, right? Same thing only. They have called as a, instead of Java object, they're calling as a bean. Okay. This is the third feature they have added it. What is that? BeanFactory and application context. What is this basically? What is the BeanFactory? What is the application context? We'll go to the deeper one day by day. Then I'll guide you each and everything. Don't worry about that. Again, next feature is they have added. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they have added one more feature called scopes. These scopes. What does that scope means? For example, you're creating an object. What is that object scope maybe? Object scope, for example, entire application you need to, they are like that, right? That is a scope. So scopes are, we have a singleton, prototype, request, session, global session. Global session. That is a one more concept. Okay. Now, again, is what? BeanFactory application context scopes. Okay. Most significant feature they have added, that is IoC. IoC means inversion of controller. In that, dependency injection, dependency lookup. These two concepts is there. Dependency lookup is best example is Java. What is that? Always dependency means you can say object, for example. Always looking for the object. Java is always looking for the object while calling the any class method. For example, we have a class A, we have a class B. I want to call class B method, then extend B, then A1 is equal to new A dot something. Then what happened? Always depend on another B or another method or another class. I can say another class. That is easier relationship. That means always looking for the object. Always looking for the object. There is no loose coupling between the object. It's a tight coupling. For example, you are there. You are a dependent. For example, you are a son. You are a father. Father someone. Okay, your father. You always dependent on your father. That is nothing but a dependency lookup. Because you don't have a job. Then what happened? Any money if you want, you're asking to your father. You are dependent on your father. That is nothing but a dependency lookup. Our real-time example is this. And dependency lookup maybe coding wise Java is the best example for dependency lookup. Always looking for the object. There is no loose coupling between the objects. Dependency injection. Dependency injection best example is a Spring. What is that? That means it, loose coupling between the object using has a relationship. But loose coupling between the object, how to achieve? POSO or POSI. What does that mean? Plain old Java object, plain old Java interface. Using this, they are achieving dependency injection. That means loose coupling between the object. That also I'll tell you. This is just theory. One by one, I'll tell you one concept. This is the one concept. This is the second concept. BeanFactory and the third concept. And again what? This is the upper one is not okay. This is the IoC. IoC means inversion of controller. It contains two parts. One is dependency injection. Second one is a dependency lookup. Dependency lookup best example is Java. That means always looking for the object. It has a easier. It contain maybe you can say the easy relationship is the best example for dependency lookup. Whereas in dependency injection best example in technology is Spring, and always it's not looking for the object. It's a loose coupling between the object. How to achieve this? Using POSA or POSI based object or POSA based. What is that? POSA means plain old Java object, plain old Java interface. That is the third concept we're gonna teach. Okay. And next, annotation based also will be there. That means now, as of now, what we thought, we think like, normally we are learning all the concepts using like this. Instead of that, they have introduced, okay, maybe, okay, IoC dependency injection. Okay. Anyway, dependency injection cover configuration based. Okay. Now, this is that one to third concept is how many ways to create an object. We are Java, we can create a 5 ways to create an object. Same way, how many ways to create a bean? We can use setter injection, constructor injection, and interface injection, and at the rate auto and one more called at the rate bean. These are the 5 ways to create an object or inject the object. Inject the object in Spring. This is the first concept is IoC, inversion of controller. Second concept is BeanFactory and application context. Third is scope. It is a 5 types of scopes: singleton, prototype, request, session, global session. How many ways to create an object? Instead of that, how many ways to inject the object? That means you are injecting your object into BeanFactory or application context. BeanFactory or application context. I'll tell you what is the difference between this and this. This is most of the people are using. This is some disadvantages there. What is the disadvantages? I'll tell you in after like this session. Okay. That is a fifth concept. Is a setter injection, constructor injection, auto and at the red bean that you can use a custom, you want to create an object using at the red bean also. custom bin. Next, sixth concept is as part of the Spring Core, we need to talk about auto types. Types. Types are by name, by type, none, auto detect, and constructor. This is the sixth concept. Seventh concept is advanced bin configuration. Okay, that is done. Okay, okay. Now bin scopes done. Now this is the seventh. Seventh is where is that? This is the seventh concept. What is the seventh concept is annotations. Annotations. Instead of this all right, they are using annotation based core annotations. I mean to say core annotations. These are the concepts I am going to teach you as part of the Spring Core. Okay, let's begin. First, what is the application context or bin? Instead of, okay, first we'll go ahead with IoC. IoC means inversion of control. I already told you. IoC means inversion of controller. Inversion of controller are basically two types. One is dependency injection. Second one is dependency lookup. Dependency lookup means always, okay, always it's looking for the object. Always it's looking for the object. Okay. Okay. Then what is that? That means, for example, we have a class A. We have a class B. Okay. Now, what happened? Class B extend A extend B if A1 is equal to new A1 dot M1. For example, something is happened for him. For example, you're changing something, a method name or anything. If you need to want to change this guy also. Okay, this guy also we need to change. That is the actually what happened. Dependent on A class is dependent on B. This we don't want. We don't want dependency, some other thing. What happened if it is a dependent? For example, real-time example, son is there, father is there. Son is dependent on father. Now, son want to go to movie. Or son want to go to with his girlfriend movie or married if it is married, something like married, no. Then he want to go to movie with his wife, but still he need to ask money. Is what is depending on father. Father is refused to give the money. Then what happened? That okay that that trip or that whatever his plan will be collapsed. Then what the Spring realized, instead of this, they are introduced dependency injection. Dependency injection means this is what tight coupling between the object. Tight coupling between the object. You can say is a relationship. EJ means what? Extend keyword they can use. EJ. Okay. Now we will talk about dependency injection. Dependency injection means, hey, give me 1 minute. I will come back. My son is calling. Hey, sorry guys, screen. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Okay. Dependency injection. Dependency injection means what we talked about. We are not able to dependent on one class to another class. Okay. Then they are using POSO or POSO based thing. What is this POSO and POSO based? Plain old Java interface or plain old Java Java interface. Now, I don't want to dependent on in any other classes in Spring what they are introduced. Anyway, they have one interface we can write. Maybe for example, engine. Okay, interface, engine, open it. Then maybe instead of engine, maybe something like method you can write. Uh, Maybe different engines, right? Maybe engine is a method. Maybe you can say parts. Maybe parts is the interface. Now I have a car, I have a bike, I have a truck. Now what happened? Truck implements, uh, maybe factory can say, factory, this is engine method. Now my truck implements factory, my, uh, what is this called? My car implements factory, my bike implements factory. Now what happened? Based on, based on inputs, we are gonna create object. What is that? I want only bike object. If you want only car object, if you want only a truck object, then individually we can create based on your inputs. Then how they're creating? Then how to achieve this? Probably right, pose or posing. Plain old Java interface. We are creating one interface. That interface contains a one method. What is that interface name? Interface is a factory. In that, maybe construct a engine or engine is the my method. Now, I want to implement, truck engine, car engine, and bike engine. Now, what I want only bike object. Then what happens? You can create a bike individually, or you can use at the rate AutoWire and CallWire. I don't want to go to the internally. You can create a only bike object. You can do that implementation. You can do only car object. We can do implementation. Okay. You can the bike object. We can do implementation. Okay. Based on how we can create an interface, each and every class we can implement that particular interface based on input. That means maybe you can say, I can say like that. If input is, I want car object, car object. If that is a car object, you can write no car object, you can return. That return type is method return type is public or interface and get object or get factory. This is the implementation method. Your input is if car, car is input, you can create a car object and give it to you. If bike is input, you can create a bike object. If it is, if it is bike, car, and truck object, you can create a truck. You don't need to depend on class, any other class, right? For example, if you have a bike, you're not able to ask bike engine to car engine, right? You're not depending on any other classes. If something is changing here, it won't affect to the here also. That way, they are using loose coupling between the object. Internally, they are using factory pattern. Factory pattern, which I told you just now, right? One interface implements this and one this. This is a factory pattern. Spring internally, which pattern they are using? Factory pattern. Spring internally, which design pattern? Which design pattern they are using? Spring. Okay. Singleton pattern, factory method pattern. See, this is the mostly they are using. This is a singleton pattern. That singleton pattern anyway. See, whenever the scopes, right, beam scope, singleton, prototype, right, that time they are using singleton default. But whereas in loose coupling between the object, they are using factory method pattern. Okay, what is the design pattern and all? I'll teach you. But as of now, you can remember only three patterns they are using internally. One is okay. One is sorry. One is singleton pattern. I think so. Maybe time up. One is singleton pattern. Second one is factory method pattern, proxy pattern, and template pattern. These are the four design patterns they are using internally. But now whatever you are talking about loose coupling between the object, we are using a factory pattern. Using factory pattern, you can use a loose coupling between the object. Please